Amazing. So did you see anything with the dashboard? Any questions around that? I appreciate it was crackling, but before I move on to sort of the benefits.
I sort of saw the first part of the dashboard.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just quickly summarize quickly the dashboard then. So
Mhm.
obviously from outside, this is what we have here is like a social media recognition. So every time some people in your organization recognize each other, it lands onto the dashboard for the wider organization to see. And it's like a social media. Uh, People can like, send emojis, add comments on each individual e-card that's sent. So it's really honing into sort of a whole new communication channel where your employee is going to touch on a range of topics throughout the year in a really light-hearted way. Um, you have the ability to have control over the banners. So these are sort of above the fold advertiser slots that you can promote certain benefits that you want high utilization. A lot of our clients use it as a way to promote well-being products or benefits. So your EAP, your 24/7 GP, the ones where you want a higher utilization of by having it above the fold as you're bringing awareness to those type of campaigns. But as you do have control, you can utilize that as a way to drive awareness of any type of campaign. If it's a staff survey, for example, you can add banners and chop and change as and when you want. And then you have the ability to allocate a company pot. So if you are to use this platform from a rewarding perspective, then you can have a company pot. You can pull that down into different departmental pots. Have a manager having a smaller controlling interest of that, and they can reward their team. Everything's tracked within the reporting suite. So if that was part of the strategy, then we have the functionality for you to be able to utilize that. However, if you wanted to use this purely on a non-financial perspective, then you don't need to have any type of company pot there. It has no effect on how the platform runs itself. So going to benefits, as I mentioned, benefits is twofold for us. We give you the ability to host your existing benefits on the page in the form of different tiles. And then we have a range of benefits that you opt into. So benefits, different user journeys for different benefits. It really depends on the setup that you're looking for. It could be that you want us to host your pension. Really simple, really user friendly. We host a tile, employees can click view more. It gives an example of that tile, what it is, and when the employee clicks learn more, it just takes them to their um, pension provider's portal to be able to log on. Really simple, really user friendly. So that's a type of sort of benefit that we could host for you. Now it could be that actually you want it a little bit more granular, where you want us to be capturing data. So we can do that as well through different types of forms. So for example, if we look at salary deductions, we can look at, so here's an example of Currys. It'll open up a separate page where it explains the benefit in a little bit more detail. So the employee has all the relevant information to make an informed decision on if they want to apply for a salary sacrifice. And then we can capture all the relevant information through the platform. They can select gross or net, how much they want to request in terms of how much they want to sacrifice, repayment limits, monthly deductions, and then they have the ability to have a quick summary, sign an employee agreement, and then they can submit the application. So these are just different forms of how you can have different benefits set up based on the requirement that you're looking for. Um, so with that in mind, so obviously, if you were to take one of the benefits, for example, the salary sacrifice, which I've just showed you, an employee then so goes for that sacrifice, they make the application, and then it goes into your benefits approval section. So here you can filter all different types of benefits that you have, and then you can approve and decline that individual based on your own eligibility checks. So as you can see here, there's a list of people that apply for the technology. You click full details, and then you have all the details needed to approve and decline that application based on your eligibility. So that is the sort of user process of someone seeing the benefit live, making an application, and then you approving the application so that the individual can then sacrifice a portion of their salary for a collection code, for example. Where some of the cooler stuff happens is within the benefit configuration section. So as I mentioned, you can create your own benefits, but every benefit tile that you create, we give you the option to set criteria rules for the benefits. So here, as you can see here, this is a technology benefit, and we can define who sees the benefit on about 6 different metrics roles, teams, individuals, minimum length of service, and with salary, there's two options, which is salary bands or minimum length. And what that means is now every individual can have personalized benefits on their hub based on their eligibility. So a real common one would be minimum length of service. If someone joins, I don't want anyone accessing the salary sacrifice benefit until they pass their 3-month probation. So when you update this, it means anyone within that period won't have access to that benefit. It won't appear, but once they've passed their probation, it automatically appears on the platform for them. Any questions so far? Sorry, I have to see him.
Yeah, how would you get this information, like passing probation? How would you get their roles? How would you get their team?
So we have an integration with your HR system, and then we would pull that relevant information to be able to facilitate that. So something like salary, a lot of our clients use salary bands. So they will give us a list of salary bands they're happy to work towards. They'll be associated to an individual, and then we can personalize the benefits based on that.
How is it? What is it through API?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay. Have you worked? Do you know what's this? Have you worked with Iris Cascade before?
I believe so. Yes, I can double check with you. But from an integration perspective, it's really we can actually work with any HRS system. So there isn't limitation in terms of us just being able to pull an API feed with the relevant information and plug it into the platform. So we've had multiple implications across different HR systems. So there's never been an issue. So I can confirm if we've got Cascade as one and who that client is.
Okay.
Can I just ask, when people apply for it and like salary sacrifice, does it make it clear like the impacts to them for like things like you know, reducing their overall pay, like I don't know, knock-on processes of sick pay,
Pensions.
maternity, and like student loans, I don't know, like all of that. Does this make it clear to people?
Yeah, so there's a few things we do. So we have comms which goes out when we launch benefits, one-pagers, videos, and they explain the knock-on effects of sacrificing your salary means that you could reduce your pension, as an
Yeah.
example. So it explains the information. So we try and inform the decision, inform them as much as possible before they make the application. What we then do is we do have some alternative sort of affordability calculators so people can understand what they can and can't sort of sacrifice. So for example, here, this is what we class as a pre-screening calculator. So employees can go in, they can say, do you know what, I'm on my 24,000 working week. I pay maybe £500 into my pension. I've got no salary, no existing benefit, and I want to sacrifice £1,000. So this means they're eligible. So we're trying to give them some advice on actually they're eligible, that actually this is likely for them to be approved, but there are some other additional checks. But in alternative, what it does is we are trying to reduce the amount of rejected applications because they're very difficult conversations to have. So for example, if someone wanted to sacrifice £2,000, it will highlight that they fall below the minimum wage threshold, and there's a reason why employers would automatically reject it. But in return, we also then provide a recommendation on sort of the maximum they can sacrifice before it gets rejected. So here we're trying to do two things.
Good.
Obviously, firstly, trying to reduce the application. We find that actually approving and declining takes the exact same time in terms of the process. You still need to run your checks. So if we can reduce a big percentage of the applications that will get rejected because we're informing them of the maximum they can sacrifice, hopefully that will take a lot of time off your desk for other roles. As you see,
Is it always with the salary sacrifice worked out for a year, over a year of payments, or
yeah, I
less?
think it's usually 12 months.
Okay.
12 months. There are we
So
can.
would your system know from our Cascade feed that if people are marked as a leaver or are on a fixed term contract that's due to end, that would be kind of,
Yeah,
you know, as in won't be here for a full year?
So yeah, so obviously there's obviously some limitations in terms of what we know. If you're marked as a leaver, we can actually hide certain benefits. So if someone's going to leave in 2 months' time because they're working on their probation and they're marked as a leaver in your HR system, we can make sure that better benefits are turned off.
Right, yeah. Thank you.
That's really helpful. Can I just ask a question about, so this calculator, say if someone uses it, does it save a capture of it for us? Because if we could have this data, and have this the same as what they've seen, saves us having to redo it all again.
Yeah, it's not something we have at the moment because we don't actually capture the data because obviously it's their personal data. It's not something we capture. We can look, if this is a requirement, we can look to embed that into the process. So when someone does make that first application, they fill in these details and then we will pull that information as part of the application. So when you go back, we can add this information into the sort of the benefit approval section. So when you see your full details, we can add an additional element here to include those fields if that's required. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be really helpful because that's something that it's something that we'd look for, to be honest.
Yeah, perfect. Any questions?
And do you know from experience, these notifications about what benefits they've got, like, do other organisations just leave it like that's the notification the employee gets about their salary reduction, or do they have to do anything more formal? Do you know?
In terms of
like notify, like a letter saying your salary is going to be reduced by this much.
Yeah, so they sign a salary agreement, an employee salary agreement, which we share with you once they've signed. So you have that as record. And as part of that salary agreement, it highlights, firstly, they're liable. So if they do leave, that the remaining amount can come out of their final salary. So that's just protecting you. But as part of that, it also confirms that this amount they're sacrificing reduces their salary, and their salary won't go back to normal until the full amount is paid. So we can send you over our T's and C's employee salary agreement. You can add your own. I don't know if you have your own, but if you want to enhance ours with some additional clauses, we can do that.
Yeah, so the standard one is what we get now for like cycle scheme and some others. But I think what would be useful is if the calculator went onto that document as well, or was available as a separate document, because obviously it may be their data, but we've already got all of their data.
Yeah.
So
So in obviously as part of that form, so it's a live form. So obviously it highlights how much they're sacrificing over a period of time and the monthly deductions. Do you want? Are you saying you would like additional fields onto that contract to highlight their new pay?
It would just be helpful to have that, the calculator that they've seen, because the first thing we do, we've had to build like templates, but we need to look at doing more, adding more to them, because yes, they've seen that they're either above or below national minimum wage, but for us, we don't see that. So if we could see that as part of the application, it would just save us, or me rather, manual stuff.
But yeah, leave that with me. We can look to try and get that embedded into here for you, so that you
thank you.
Perfect. Look, we have a raft of benefits available: EAP, 24/7 GP, a raft of salary sacrifices. What we have recently introduced is salary deductions. So what we're trying to move towards is if someone falls below the minimum wage threshold, we know they're automatically going to be rejected. How can we then make benefits more inclusive to those individuals? So we've looked at options where we do sort of net deductions instead of gross. And they're sort of termed as loan agreements. So these employees can have access to the schemes itself. There's no tax benefits as such to either party, but there's an element of sort of supporting their financial well-being and as well giving an inclusive element to your benefits, so that it is for everyone, not just people on the certain salaries. So that's something that we've introduced. So you'll have net and gross options available per benefit if you wish to enable them.
Yeah. Great.
Perfect. I think yes. So any question on the benefits? Because I can send you a list of our benefits, and then you can obviously, for us, you just pick and choose which ones you want, and they're all just embedded onto the platform.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
We're going to sort of recognition. So there's a few ways where we sort of set ourselves apart with recognition. Firstly, e-card designs. Now these are very animated, very light-hearted, very punny, that they resonate really well with some of our clients. We've also got a lot of legal companies, and I always say that lawyers do not like seeing goldfishing on a dashboard when they walk into court on a Monday morning. So you can imagine these don't really resonate with them. So we can redesign all these e-cards in your image. So if you give us branding guidelines in terms of how you want these to be represented, colours, designs, these can be all rebranded in your image so that they resonate with how you want to be speaking to your employees when it comes to e-cards. So that's obviously the first in terms of the ability to customize all the e-cards in your image is one of our USPs. The second element is this has turned into a whole new communication channel. It isn't just about in the moment recognition now. There's a range of options where for your employees to engage with on different topics. So it could be welcoming someone to the team or celebrating an anniversary. You could be a quick message because someone is ill and you just wanted to let them know you're thinking about them. You've got birthday, you've got sort of different types of personal ones, like you announce that you're tying a knot or you're pregnant. We do different types of seasonality options. And so in March next year, we're launching something called a D&I calendar. And what this means is we have over 250 different religious and sort of events that people celebrate throughout the year. Your employees will be able to log on. They will be able to opt into the celebrations they want to celebrate, and then the platform, in the name of the sort of the employer's account, will automatically send out a message on the day of that celebration to celebrate that moment with the individual, because we know that they celebrate that moment. So we've hired a D&I consultant, so we're doing a lot of work to tie in that so that no one's religious festival or celebration is ever missed from the platform, and it is an inclusive way to recognise individuals. So obviously e-card designs and that inclusion element is huge to our recognition piece. Where we then get employee buy-in is we actually allowed employees to design their own e-cards as well. I don't know if anyone's designed Moonpig birthday cards back in the day when there was all the phase. But you have the ability to sort of upload your own image. You can do image and text, or you can just do a basic e-card here. You can change the font, add a message. Do you know what I mean? Choose an image or choose a little emoji, and then it will generate an e-card for you to be able to send to your colleagues. And since implementing this, we found that employees that design their own e-cards are more likely to send more frequent recognition across the board versus someone who doesn't. So we've seen it's a great leverage for us to pull to drive more engagement from a recognitions perspective when employees have the ability to design their own e-cards. Sending recognition is really easy. You just highlight who you want to recognise. You have a reason for recognising, and that's always in line with your company values. So we strip these words out and we align with your values, and it allows us to report every month on how your values are being represented on the platform when it comes to recognition. You write a little personal message. And for 99% of the users, the focus here is about delivering more non-financial recognition. So it's not a title award. So you press next and you get a quick summary of what you've designed and messaged out. And then you have a few options. Do you want to enable SMS? So we do text recognition. If you've got an organization where you've got a lot of DESA staff, they might not have access to their emails as frequently. So actually, if you wanted to send some recognition, you can just add their mobile number in and we'll send them a text to say they've been recognized. Alternatively, if you want to send recognition, they get an email notification. And if they've got the app downloaded, they get a push notification to say they've been recognized. So you can send in the moment, or if you're just want to recognize someone, I'll drop someone a message because you know they come back from holiday next week, you can schedule an e-card in the date and time of your choosing for that to be sent. And then finally here, you do have some really, and it's really important, you have some privacy settings. So within the privacy settings here, you can decide, is the message of sensitive nature or not? And if it's the case, maybe you want to hide it from the dashboard so that the message is more personal between you and the individual and it isn't on the dashboard for the wider organization to see. Any questions about recognition?
No.
Amazing. Perfect. So obviously recognition falls into, for us, two other buckets. Nominations, so to be able to nominate an individual for an award. It's a similar process in terms of form-based approach. You highlight who you want to nominate. You choose an award of your choice, so Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year. And again, another reason, again, we can align this with your values as well, or you can create your own wording around nominations. Again, this is going to be your branding, your logos, and then you can nominate that individual for an award. Now, what's really powerful in this is every time someone's nominated, they're notified. So what we find with a lot of nominations is only the winner finds out. and you actually don't know what's happened during the process. Whereas the way this is set up, every time you're nominated, you're notified. So you may not win the awards, but if you've been nominated 10, 15, 20 times, that's 10, 15, 20 notifications you've had during that period. And it's really, really powerful because you may not win, but the gratification that people are recognising the work you're doing and they've nominated you for an award is really, really powerful. And that's why we allow those nominations to go out to individuals that have been nominated. And then for the super admin, you go into your nomination activity awards and you can calculate everyone that's been nominated automatically. And then you can open up a field and it captures all the messaging of why that person has been nominated. So if you were to take it to, say, a panel, you can obviously download the top 3 people, and then you can understand why that person is more deserving than the others. And obviously, then you can come back and reward through the platform once you've decided the winner. One of the new USPs for us is external nomination. So through the use of QR codes on marketing materials like email signature, posters, we can get patients, customers, external people to have a contributing factor on your nomination. So if an individual's had an unbelievable experience from one of your employees, they can scan a QR code, enter in a few words, and then that will pull through into your reporting suite. So actually, it could be that Zara here may have 0 from their peers, 0 from their managers, but hundreds from her external colleagues because of the work that she's doing, and maybe she's more deserving of the award versus the others. So we can capture external nominations as well. Perfect. Any questions?
It's really good to see this part of the recognition, because I think last time we looked mostly at the vouchers and things, and then the dashboard and so on. But this is really interesting. I haven't seen sort of an external recognition thing.
Yeah.
So this is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually stemmed from a lot of the ideas and features actually stemmed from some of our clients. So we do a lot of work with the NHS, and they wanted a way to tie in their patient experience. And instead of just going through to a call center, you can actually go into a hospital, scan a QR code on a poster now, and it pulls all that patient experience comments into the nomination activity report. So yeah, it's just about joining up different industries, and obviously then we can translate that into another one. And then finally, which is very popular, is automated milestones. So we capture everyone's birthdays and anniversaries onto the platform, and what that allows you to do is set up automated milestones. So within your admin section, you have the ability to set up as many types of milestones that you would like, and it will automatically celebrate that milestone with absolutely no manual intervention at all. So as you can see here, there's a birthday one. We've got loads of anniversary ones. But as a birthday, as you can see, this is a name. You can write a message. You can select who the sender is going to be. We find with birthdays, it's quite nice coming from the manager. But as we move towards long service, it's quite nice if someone from the senior leadership team has messaged them saying, thank you for all the work you've done over the last 5 years. You have your privacy settings in place. It's a bit of a catch-22 with birthdays. We find that people don't want their birthdays to be celebrated in public. But at the same time, if you don't celebrate their birthdays, they're a little bit upset that you've missed their birthday. So we find a lot of clients enable this, but they keep it private. So you're celebrating that birthday one-to-one in an email. You can bespoke each message and milestone by department. Choose an e-card and then save. And that's what it means on everyone's birthday, an e-card, a message, and potentially a financial amount, if you want to do financial recognition, is sent to the individual at 8 o'clock. So it doesn't matter if everyone disappears on holiday, no one's birthday is ever going to be missed because it's automated through the platform. And that then does encourage what we've seen clients start to celebrate smaller milestones that they may have not done. We find a lot of our bigger clients, they celebrate the major milestones 10, 20, 30 years. And the reason why they're not celebrating the smaller ones is just capacity. The amount of time it takes to set up or send anniversary e-cards or birth anniversary cards and such, it takes too long, and that's why they don't do it. But because we've automated the process, you do have the ability to celebrate those smaller anniversaries non-financially. It doesn't have to be any type of financial attachment, but it's still nice to get a message to celebrate that they've spent the last 2 years at this company and thank you for their work. Perfect. Any questions on the automated milestones?
No.
No questions from me.
Perfect. So obviously further down here, we do have some alternative stuff. You have surveys where you can create different types of surveys, all different types of engagement surveys. So you have the ability to use this feedback tab here to capture feedback on maybe benefit uptake, platform usage, how people are doing, how they're feeling, and you can run as many surveys as you want through the platform. We've got a donation element. So if you are giving people rewards or they just want to donate a little bit of their own money, they can donate to a range of reforestation projects across the globe. There's a raft of charities that can donate to as well. And if you have any charity associations that you want to attach to this, we can upload those and have that as well. And also volunteering days. As super admins, you can create different types of volunteering events through the platform, and people can sign up to that event. You can approve and decline in the benefits section, but it just allows you to create an event and capture who might be interested as well. We've got a wellbeing hub where there's a range of content for your employees across mental, physical, and financial security. And then we have the latest newsfeed. So the latest newsfeed is there to capture, or you have 100% editorial control over this, but to capture content that you might want to push out to the wider organization. So it could be just standard news. It could be announcements. It could be a job post. So if you're really struggling to fill a job in a certain location, you can add this into the platform. And then once that's posted, employees can share out to friends and family through WhatsApp and Facebook as such. But you have 100% editorial control, so you have the ability to shout about stuff that you want to talk about, and all this information lands on the dashboard for everyone to see. So if you want to do a company announcement, you just create that announcement, post it, and it will land on the dashboard for everyone to see. And then finally, you have reporting. So we provide insight reports. So we capture sort of everything from platform all the way down to employee level. So we can provide really granular report in terms of how people are using the platform. So we give some snapshots of some of the key metrics people like to see, which is recognition sent and received, benefit uptakes, sign-ins, how many e-cards are being sent and the reason for that, where the budget's being distributed to. And then within the all-time reports, as I mentioned, we capture anything. So we use these reports to send you a monthly report and recommendations of how to drive more engagement. So your CS manager will jump on here and identify some reports and key engagement metrics that we feel like we can increase the following month. So for us, some of the key metrics for us reports are the manager's report and departmental report. So for us, managers set the tone of this platform. If a manager isn't engaged with the platform, their team doesn't engage. We find that if a manager is recognizing their team are recognizing each other. So they really set the tone. So we do a lot of work with the managers, on-site training, live webinars, FAQ guides, everything to empower them to use the platform on day one. So there's an explosion of recognition and comms, so they're really setting the tone. But it does enable us to say every month, if we set a pre-engagement threshold of 75%, for example, we can come to you say, of your 20 departments, we found this department has fallen behind or below the threshold that we've set. And the reason is because the manager hasn't sent any recognition this month or hasn't spoken about anything about on the platform. So we can identify if that's just because they've been on holiday or if they've just stopped using it. And we can really tailor the comms towards that department to say why it's important to send recognition behaviors. So we can really tailor our comms to help drive engagement in a really granular way. That's it from the recognition side. Any questions before I move to the shop?
No, none for me.
Amazing.
That looks good.
Perfect. And then the final thing is the shop. So the shop is sort of a multi-discount and deals and discount and cashback shop. So your employees can jump on, they've got deals and codes, they can grab their 10% off Nike, grab the code, go onto the Nike website, put it into the basket, and they get 10% off. We've got cinema discounts, we've got a fuel card to support people who drive into work, and with the cost of living crisis, diesel prices, they may need some support on their traveling into work. But the real USP of the platform is the cashback. So we provide market-leading cashback for hundreds of retailers across the UK in the hospitality and retail space. So we have a mobile app, and let's say, for example, you went into Sainsbury's. You know you're about to go spend £100. You're in the queue. You're about to spend £100. You've got the mobile app open. You can pay through the app, show the cashier the code, take your products away. The USP on our platform is that we give instant cash back. So once that transaction's happened, that £4.75 instantly goes into their balance to be able to spend again. They could queue back up in Sainsbury's. They can walk to another shop, and they can use that cash back on another transaction. So, they could walk into, for example, Adidas, about to buy a pair of trainers. They can use that cash back they've just earned, or they might say, do you know what, I want to start saving up for Christmas presents at the end of the year, and I'm just not going to touch my cash back until then. And they can walk into Adidas, buy a pair of trainers, and they get £10. So if the onus on the platform really is not to encourage more spending, but what we are saying is, because we work with every retailer, all your micro daily transactions that you do at the moment, we can really make you cashback savvy by just moving those transactions on our platform so your employees can earn cashback. And if you use Sainsbury's in isolation, everyone does weekly food shops now. They roughly are about £100. Do you know what I mean? And if you're getting £4.75 back every time you make a transaction over a year, that's close to £200 to £250 in cashback saving on a transaction you were going to do anyway. So you can really see how people can save money on the platform. And I always say there's two different types of people on this platform. You've got someone who's got £5, that's me, it's because I had Just Eat last night. And you've got the sensible people in the world who build up their balance throughout the year, and all their Christmas presents are paid for because they've got thousands in the savings. So yeah, a real great opportunity for employees to be able to save money and access their funds straight away.
And there's also, in addition to that, there's the regular vouchers, I think, if that's correct as well. Yeah,
absolutely. There's vouchers. We've got about 70,000 different products and gift cards on the platform. So the one thing I didn't show you was actually when you recognize someone and you go through this process here, you can actually attach a reward. So for example, if you just put a message here, you can actually add a reward. So you can add a monetary amount where £5, it's £5, goes into their personal balance to be able to spend on the shop. You've got a gift, and that's linked to the shop. So you can attach a TV, you can attach a Ninja air fryer, you can attach a gift card, whatever you'd like. If you would want to be a little bit more thoughtful with how you want to gift or reward someone, you have the flexibility to choose on what product you want. Or it could just be a standard gift card. And you can attach that, and they can redeem that from the platform as well. So yeah, absolutely, there's a raft of rewards and products for people to be able to purchase with or without any monetary amount, because they can use their own debit and credit card to make these transactions as well. So I've just realised I weren't sharing that screen at all. So it's the end of the day. But this is what, obviously, when you go back, obviously this is sort of the form we filled in. You can go back, add a reward at the bottom here, and you've got the ability to add a sort of a monetary amount, a gift or a gift card. Completely up to you.
cool.
Perfect. I think that's everything. That's everything. Yeah.
Awesome. That was really quite holistic, because I saw a few things in our previous demo, but I saw even more stuff now. So yeah, thank you for that.
Perfect. Thank you. No, it's moving towards a people experience platform, because a lot of the benefits that we provide don't just touch on the employees, it touches on their family as well, because their family have access to the benefits. A lot of those are accessible. So yeah, it's turned into, as mentioned, a people experience platform across all those different options.
So people can nominate their family members for access.
Yeah, they'll be able to reward and send rewards to their family members. Obviously, stuff like EAP and 24/7 GP, the ones we have embedded onto the platform, their families can have access, so they can use their families. So there's a lot of benefits that are not just employee related now. Their family can have access as well.
Cool.
Can I just check? I don't know if I missed it, but was buying, selling holiday on that platform?
We don't have that at the moment. We can host a form where if you want us to capture the messaging or the information, and we can add that into the approval process. But actually, the working out the calculator and the deductions is not something we have right now.
Right, thank you.
Is that something that you would like to see on the platform?
It.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so,
Okay.
if possible.
Okay. Leave that to me. I can come back to you to see if that's possible. Perfect. I think that's it. I appreciate your time so late on in the day. So yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate that.
Cheers. Awesome. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Thanks. Take care.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.